baseball talk is like a good YouTube scrolling morning poo. Something that two dads unfortunately don't have time for.
Hey.
What are you doing?
Going to the bathroom.
We're all downstairs waiting for you.
So let's just jump right into the topics. The apocalypse occurs, Phil. You have to burn your entire collection to keep you, your wife, and your child warm. You can only keep one of your magnificent beasts. Which card is it?
All right, well, it quickly gets narrowed down to two cards. One being my Mike Trout 2009 Bowman Chrome Autograph Refractor PSA 9. I like that one a lot. I like Trout a lot. He's been a guy I've been on since pretty close to the beginning of me getting back into baseball cards. And I've also got this PSA 9 first edition Charizard from the base set, English. And I'm gonna have to say the Charizard. 10 years, 20 years out, Charizard. You know, I'm doing a little bit of work on the side.
Male prostitute.
To gauge how important it is for a player to have few alternative rookies. And with Charizard, that's the card. With Trout, yeah, Bowman is the card, but he's got a lot of variants. So it makes it a little bit less special.
You are not special.
Even though the pop count on the Charizard PSA 9 is quite a bit higher.
How many?
So I'm gonna go with Charizard, and there is some nostalgia there. I did open up packs when I was a kid. Probably not a first edition, but base set. And my mom threw away my binder.
Mom?
Or my dad.
Dad?
That's exactly what I'm...
One of them. Wasn't me. Or my sister stole it.
Don't look at me.
I know you obviously big baseball guy. You like all sports, but I have to admit I am surprised to hear you go with Pokemon.
First $5,000 plus dollar card I ever bought. 2018, 2019. It was a Charizard. In my head, I had only really linked Pokemon cards, or maybe vintage sports, with the idea of a true investment. And a lot of that has to do with supply and a clear hierarchy for the top cards in Pokemon. I kind of understood that. So investment-wise, yes. Collectible-wise, I mean, I do have a Venusaur and a PSA 10 from the first edition set, and another great card. And I have tried to kind of like pick up some of the other first edition holos. But all right, I just got something on my screen. It says I have 10% battery remaining. That's not good, but we should be able to power through this.
We'll go fast.
All right, so where was I going? Damn dryer.
What's in the dryer tonight?
Walking out for love. I'm walking out really down.
Let's move on to card consolidation, which I think a lot of people are trying to thin out their collections in these times, sell things that they don't think can recover quickly, and or just don't see recovering ever. So let's break it down by sport. We'll do basketball, baseball, football. We'll do one retired player, one under 25, and then one over 25. You can only invest, collect, or flip these three players in these three sports. You can choose. Do you want to go baseball first?
Oh, geez, I thought I had one guy across all sports.
Well, we can do one guy across all sports.
I have no idea what I'm doing, but I know I'm doing it really, really well.
But I just want to say LeBron for the over 25 active player.
Like, I was ecstatic. Like, obviously, I showed that the first wave of emotion was when y'all, everyone saw me crying. Like, that was all for 52 years of everything in sports going on in Cleveland. And then after I stopped, I was like, that one right there made you the greatest player of all time.
With a retired player, I'm going to pick, and this one is going to seem a little stupid right now because he just received under 25% of the votes from the New Era committee, but that's Barry Bonds. And Not saying he should be in the Hall of Fame. Not saying I think he'll be in the Hall of Fame anytime soon.
You're goddamn right.
But that doesn't matter. Pete Rose isn't in the Hall of Fame, and he was so good that his cards sell for a lot regardless. Sometimes you're just so good, you kind of transcend that qualification of being in the Hall of Fame. And with Bonds, like I look at what Aaron Judge is doing, I look at what somebody could do the next year when they start messing with the ball again and using 3 different balls. Not to take away anything from Judge, he was great, and I think he might do something similar again next year. But all this does is it puts more attention onto Barry Bonds, and we look back and we're like, oh my God, that's insane.
Not supposed to have a lifetime slugging percentage of .556, which is good, but nowhere near the top of the list. Lifetime slugging average of .556, then slug .863, and have 2 other seasons over 800 and one at .799 in your late 30s and early 40s. It's incredible to maintain a high level of performance when most players are declining, let alone to improve stratospherically over anything you've ever done with an established pattern of performance for 13, 14 years, or anyone in the whole history of the game has ever done.
He would have had a better career than Bryce Harper probably without the steroids. So he's probably still a Hall of Famer without it. Cheated, took some stuff he wasn't supposed to. He took a lot of it. His head tripled in size.
Well, I got 2 words for you. Head exercises.
Again, he probably cheated more than most people. He probably injected more than most people. It's hard to quantify that. But it's all a gray area. And we're going to go back. I think we're going to look at Albert Pujols. We're going to look at some of these other guys. Ichiro even. Were these guys really clean? Were they really?
They're not. I mean, I did a whole video on it. Mickey Mantle wasn't clean. Guys were taking amphetamines.
In the 1950s, the Yankees were going out to Copacabana all fucking night.
Apparently, there's an Adderall issue with baseball as well.
Absolutely. A disproportionate number of baseball players compared to the general population are on Adderall. That's why I said it's a performance-enhancing drug. But you had guys like Mickey Mantle and Whitey Ford and Billy Martin partying all night at the Copacabana. They have to make a 1 p.m. game, maybe even a doubleheader. They're doing greenies. They're doing amphetamines. It's always been a part of baseball is finding that edge.
Right.
Now, you got guys who are just looking to maybe recover a little faster, you know, who from injuries or fatigue. You're looking for guys who are looking to maintain peak performance for a longer period than their bodies might have otherwise allowed. Is it that big of a deal? I don't know.
It's not, and it's a weird deal. It's a weird thing that we have an issue with. Like, look, if they did the same sort of stringent testing with NFL players, you'd find out that everyone's on steroids.
There was a documentary done, it was a couple of years ago, and there was a actual drug enforcement officer for Major League Baseball talking about how the science to evade detection is far advanced compared to actually detecting the steroids. And his estimate was conservatively 20 to 40% of players are on some form of PED.
I believe that at a minimum, 20% of the 40-man roster players are using performance-enhancing substances. And I mean, that's a conservative number from the information I gathered over the years.
Eddie Dominguez should know. For 6 years, catching the dopers was part of his job with MLB's investigation unit.
So that would mean that there should be 100 ball players that test positive, and they don't.
More than 8,000 tests were done last season. Only 10 resulted in players being disciplined.
And they catch, I think it's like 1%, 2%. I think Bonds and Clemens suffer more from they're just not likable characters.
I don't want anyone in my face. Man, I'm gonna break that damn thing and you put it on me. Now get it off.
It's my brother up here. If I needed to get him off the plate, I'm gonna get him off the plate.
With Clemens dripping of arrogance a bit, he liked to play the role of the villain when he played.
And fired into foul territory near Piazza. Obviously, Piazza didn't mean to do that. My gosh, that's a blatant act. Foolish.
And then Bonds, of course, just a whole nother level of narcissist. I think the fans appreciated him. I mean, how could you not at a certain point? And he didn't present as many distractions to the team as an A-Rod. So call him a narcissist, but I think A-Rod was like a level 2 narcissist.
Yeah.
This is essential, is very important. This is it's called Complexion Booster Sun Goddess. So this lotion gives me a little bit of bronze. It also gives me a little bit of sunblock and a little bit of moisturizer. So this is something that I'm coming out very soon. This is called a teaser, and all the men around the world are gonna fall in love with this product, I promise you. I've been waiting for this product for 20 years. It can give you moisture, sunblock, and a little bit of color. It is perfect. It beats makeup. It's a trifecta, and there's nothing wrong with men and a little makeup. Trust me, I like it. I do it all the time.
Have you seen this Screwball documentary on his whole steroid scandal? Apparently, he has or had in his Yankee playing days a painting of him as a Minotaur.
Erroneous! Erroneous!
Right.
Like, that's like a whole other level of into yourself. Right?
I call him a sociopath in one of my videos, and somebody's like, you know, he wasn't a sociopath. I'm like, oh, you know what? You're right. He's a narcissist. It's like, but he was. I'm like, great. Thanks for calling that out. I definitely got that term wrong. And then he's like, okay, like he's like, should I negotiate with him and try to get like a different adjective?
No, I'm just gonna exit stage left over this way. All right, next question.
What about the under
turns
25?
into depression.
We talk about that?
Oh wait,
see, this is why we can't do it for every sport.
We didn't do under 25. See, I'm jumping it. I'm jumping it.
Yeah.
I have no idea what I'm doing, but I know I'm doing it really, really well.
Yeah, you're right. We'll have to do basketball next time.
Yeah.
All right, under 25.
Under 25.
Any sport.
Under 25 for me is going to be, now this is going to be a little logic driven.
Come on! I'm listening to reason.
Especially since how far he's come down over the last year, and you can kind of see this coming. I'm starting to look. I probably tried to snipe 20 of his auctions so far within the last 2 months. I failed on all of them. That's the way it goes these days with Filmington. I'm super selective, and it served me well. Because I'm finding those great deals, executing on the great deals, and passing up on some of the good deals that appear to be great but might not be great. And 2 weeks later, it's like, all right, it's good that I missed that one. You know, sometimes missing is actually a win in the long term.
You need to play to win, but you also have to win to play.
It's Juan Soto.
Okay.
Same birthday as me.
It's your birthday.
I went to a party for the first time with other adults in years, it seemed.
And how was your quarantine?
You asked me that already, but it was, it was okay. Some ups and downs.
Ups and downs? You stabbed your husband with a screwdriver. You wouldn't finish building the bookshelf and you stabbed him. You don't even own books.
But I'm sure we all went through some stuff.
And I talked to a friend who I hadn't spoken with in years, and he's Dominican, and he's a big baseball guy. And I was like, okay, just curious. He doesn't collect cards, but I'm like, what? If you were buying a card like long term, who do you invest in of all like the young Dominicans? Tatis, Vlad, Acuna, and Soto. And he's like, for me, I mean, all those guys are great, but I'd want to go for the guy that can do things that nobody else can do. And he picked Vlad. Now that was interesting from an outsider because Vlad can, hit the ball really hard.
1 pitch. And it is driven to left field and gone.
I think there's a few guys that can do things on the field that nobody else can do. Ohtani.
Yeah, the guy's a unicorn. I mean, that's...
Yeah. Baseball over 25, it's Ohtani, Ohtani, and Ohtani again.
A 101 is still going to grab your eyeballs. Here's the 2-2. Got him.
He does. He does, in fact, square it up. Aslo gone.
Number 2, maybe Vlad. Maybe he's right. Number 3 for me is Soto. It's the plate discipline at that age. Now, the downfall of Soto and Vlad is that they aren't as multifaceted. They don't have the fallback of their legs.
It's a run. 2-2, back to the mound. That's the only place it won't. Or maybe it will. Tatis going to try and score, and he is in safely.
Or their defense.
Punch to right. Betts comes on, makes the catch. Here's his throw home. It is perfect.
That can kind of help with their overall contributions. So this is where I get to the negatives a little bit with Soto. Soto's going to turn it back on again. He's showing that he can do that. And I have faith that he will. And again, his prices are down so much where it seems stupid not to buy, especially since I've been on him since the start. I was buying $1,000 plus cards in 2018, posting it to my YouTube channels, like my first 10 to 15 videos I've done. 300 videos later, I still think he's a great long-term play. I've been pretty good about like buying the dips and selling some of the peaks with Soto. Like I had 2 Bowman Chrome autographs in PSA 10 earlier this year. I sold them. I got more than $7,500 for both of them.
Let it ride!
Now that's down to like $3K. I've done this. I've had some greens. I've had at least 1 purple. I've had a few refractors, I believe 2. Going for a blue now.
Okay.
Don't post that actually because it's in auction right now. But
don't worry, it's gonna take a while to edit.
Yeah.
It'll be done before the video comes out.
The negatives again. I'll cut it short with him. Launch angle probably needs to work on it. He's not going to draw any Pujols comps. He might draw some comps of other players, but he only has 1 season so far where he's had more than 30 home runs. Is that an issue? Not if he hits 330 with a 500 OBP. The issue is sometimes he doesn't do that. look this past season. So the launch angle.
I don't believe in practicing launch angle because I think that lengthens your swing. And we're seeing a change in the game now. Guys talking about launch angle, pitchers are throwing the ball up. And now there's going to be a weapon of up there, until guys will make that adjustment.
Any inconsistency. So he's going to turn it back on again. But as we saw in 2021, he had a terrible first half.
Yep.
Not terrible. Average.
For him, though, it was terrible.
Yeah. So when he turns it back on, you have to wonder, well, when is he going to turn it back off? Should I sell before he turns it back off? Because he's kind of been like a tale of 1/2, 2/2 players, exception of this past year where he sucked in both halves.
Right. So, besides the blue, what else are you going after? Can you share?
I'm looking at Topps Heritage Red Ink, PSA 9 maybe. That's a card I'm looking at. They don't show up often. I have the one big card that I still own of him is a Topps Flagship Black Parallel. Okay. And it's because I think the market's like underappreciated them.
Always bet on black.
Nice thing about Soto, you only have so many options compared to some of these other modern guys. It's still a lot versus Trout, but 2018 Topps Chrome Update refractors, the numbered ones, like a gold, maybe non-auto. I had an orange auto, I sold it. Timed that one pretty well.
Ooh.
And we lost Phil.
Phil?
I think his computer went out.
Well, now we have a firm grasp of the obvious.
Do we stay on?
I love scotch. I love scotch. Scotchy, scotch, scotch. Here it goes down into my belly.
Oh, where did you go? Where did you go now? Where did you go?
Where do we go?
Where did you go, Phil?
Where do we go? Where do we go now?
Where did you go? Where did you go, Phil? Plug your computer in.
Where do we go now?
Plug in your phone. Plug in your computer.
Phil. Frickin' Phil.
Phil's been missing for about 24 hours, and I think we need to look for him.
I'm sure he's fine. Maybe we should organize a search party.
Where do we start?
Well, who saw him last?
Oh, there he is.
No, it's not Phil's truck.
Well, then whose truck is it? Oh, my